All right, good morning, everyone. Please indicate if you can hear me because we are starting now. It's going to be a very short session. Before 1 hour, we're going to finish the session. So if you can hear me, let me know on the chat, okay? And also, this session is going to be hands-on. So I expect you to open the file and then follow along with me. At the end of this session, we're going to invite questions. Questions is not only related to Excel. If you have questions pertaining to tech, pertaining to data analytics, this is an opportunity for you to ask, right? I always say that one meeting, one session with a professional is more than 100 days of learning on your own, all right? So there is power in mentorship. This is an opportunity for you to ask questions. If you want to transition into tech, or if you want to change your career from one tech career to another, this is an opportunity for you to ask questions, all right? So I'm going to share my screen now. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? Please just on
Yes, yes,
I can
yes.
see you now. Can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is Microsoft Excel. Claim that they know Excel, right? They know Excel only in their CV, right? When you go to their CV, you see a lot of things. But by the time you give them tests to do in Excel, that is when you know that they don't actually know Microsoft Excel. Excel is one of the most powerful tools that many companies use. So what this means is that it gives room for job employment, opportunities. Let me accept people that are coming in now. Okay, so if you are joining us now, please ensure that you download the resources for this webinar. All right, this webinar is going to be very short. Okay, from time to time, we're bringing in webinar like this to engage the community, to ensure that you stay abreast with the latest technologies. So if you are in Talent Digital community, I want to say welcome, and I want to also say that you are lucky to be here because we're going to be giving out free resources that you cannot find elsewhere. Those things that are paid for elsewhere, you can find them here for free. So from time to time, we'll be coming up with this webinar, right, to engage you, to teach you those things that you need to know in order to be employable. All right, so please, I have a tendency of speaking fast. If I'm too fast for your hearing, just kindly point my attention and I will slow down. All right, so let me confirm if you can hear me. I will be asking you if you can hear me regularly because I know we don't trust internet in this country. All right, so that I won't just be talking to myself. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Exactly. Thank you very much. All right. So, like I said,
Yeah.
Excel is a very powerful tool, right? That most companies use. I myself have worked with so many companies. I know that the primary tool they use is Microsoft Excel. The one recently that I encountered is a hotel company, right? They've been using Excel for more than 5 years to be taking bookings and all that, right? So now imagine tomorrow they will need what? An Excel expert. Okay, a lot of people claim they know Microsoft Excel only on their CV. Okay, but when you interview them, that is when you know that they don't actually know Excel. So the essence of this webinar is to show you or to teach you some of these Excel functions. Now, primarily, we're going to be focusing on the date function, which is one of the most powerful functions in Microsoft Excel. The reason is that if you are using Excel, either in your workplace or for any project, there is no how you will not need date manipulation. All right, so that is the main essence of this session. All right, okay, so I have this Excel file open here. All right, so I'll walk you through on how to understand the data. So this is a booking data given to us by Hotel Digit, right? This booking data is from 2021 to 2022. So right here, you see booking date. This booking date is a date that each booking is done, okay? We also have here, the year column does not have any value, right? Because we want to learn how to use Excel to extract value by using the date function. Then we have the month number, the month name, the day number, the day name, arrival date, departure date, and night. We're going to learn how to compute two dates in order to get, the date difference, okay? Then we have the rate, and we have total bookings as well as the date. Why do we have this date here when we have booking date here? You're going to learn that in few minutes, right? So after today's session, you can really tell, you'll be happy with yourself that at least you know date manipulation in Excel. There is also another date formatting data here, which you're going to learn. For instance, most people, when they enter data in Excel, even if it is date, they don't properly format it. So you're going to learn how to format date that is not properly formatted in Excel. You're going to learn how to get the end of month. For instance, in June or in January, how many days made up January? All right, you're going to get the end of month to know the day that January ends. Then we're going to work with the function to get the working days. So at the end, you're going to be equipped with the date function. Also, I have this Hotel Digit data in Google Sheet, all right? So whatever you're going to learn how to do with Microsoft Excel, you're going to also learn how to do this using Google Sheets, all right? So if you're excited, let me see your comment on the chat. If you're excited for this webinar, let me see your comment on the chat. Let me see your comment on the chat. Let me see your reaction. If you're happy with this webinar, with this, stuff we want to do, I want to see your reaction. Okay, someone has raised his hand to speak. Yes. Samuru, please go ahead. If you have any question, you can unmute and speak. Yes, you raise your hand, you can unmute and speak. Okay, so maybe that was by mistake. Okay, so I believe that you got your file open. Okay, so let me just introduce you to Excel a bit. I know you know Microsoft Excel already, all right, but let me just do a little recap. Okay, so this is Excel environment. For those who are not familiar with this environment, Excel is divided into two sections. The column section, where you have this A, B, C, and the row section where you have this 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you can easily identify the column section by these alphabet numbers, right? You can also easily identify the row section by these numbers. Excel has a total, please take notes, because some of the things you're going to hear are interview questions which I'm going to provide you with the answer. So I believe you have your writing material, you can pen down some points, right? You can pen down some points. When I sent the link for the meeting, I said that Excel has 475 functions. Did you know that before now? Some of you might know it and others might not know it. So take note that Excel has 475 functions, all right? So in Excel, Excel has a total of 1,048,576 rows. Let me write it again. 1,048,576 rows. These are the rows in Excel. So these numbers you see, if you want to count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to have a total of 1,048,576 rows. So I'm not just speaking jargon. Some of you might say, how am I sure? How am I sure that this is correct? Okay, so I'm going to show you how. If you have opened your Excel, right, I want you to place your cursor here. Place your cursor here. Place your cursor here on this this row number 1, right? Before I continue, I want to confirm if you can still hear me. Please just speak if you can hear me. Let me know. And you can still see my screen.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, all right. So I have to bring in, can you see on screen keyboard? Can you see this on screen keyboard?
Yes, I can.
Exactly. So I had to bring up this on screen keyboard to show you some shortcuts in Excel. All right. So if you place your cursor here on where we have this column A, row 1, all right, what I want you to do, I want you to hold your control key on your keyboard. This is the control key on the keyboard. Hold it, all right? As you hold this control key, I want you to press the down arrow key on your keyboard. You can see from my screen, this is the down arrow key. This is the down arrow key. So I'm going to press the down arrow key now while I am holding my control key like this. What have you noticed? Can someone tell me what he or she notices right now? Yes, this is an interactive class, so I want everybody to speak. So one person can unmute and then tell me, what have you seen? What has just happened? Yes, I'm waiting.
Okay.
Give us
Excel automatically.
quick access to the
Sorry.
last part of the.
Okay, so Excel has taken us to the last part of the row. So you can confirm that we have a total of 1,448,576 rows in Excel. 1,048,576 rows in Excel. That is huge. That's large, right? So if I want to go back to the top row, I'll click the control key on my keyboard, press the control key on my keyboard, right? And then press the up arrow key. Okay, so I need to put my cursor here, right? Control key and then the up arrow key. I'm back on row number 1. Okay, so you can notice that we have this. Let me zoom this out. Let me format this. Okay, and then let me increase the font size. So Excel 2 has what we call columns. Excel has a total of 16,384 columns. Can you hear me? Excel has a total of 16,384 columns. Because Excel columns are not numbers, so you won't be able to see the count, but you can see the last column in Excel. To see the last column in Excel, put your cursor here. You can try this along with me. These are pure interview questions, okay? So with your keyboard, right, press the control on the keyboard and then press the right arrow key. Now, I want one person to speak. Who can tell me the last column number in Excel? Hello? Who can tell me the last column number in Excel?
XFD.
Exactly.
XFD.
Exactly.
XFD.
XFD. All right. So now, how do we confirm the total columns we have in Excel? Let me go back to row number 1. I'll press the control key on the keyboard and then press the left arrow key. So in Excel, there is a function which you can use to get the total columns numbers, total columns that you have, right? So if you can do this with me, this is the function to use, all right? This is a function. you start any function or any data manipulation with an equal sign. So we're going to use the columns functions, all right? You can type col or columns and then double click on columns, okay? So what we need to apply, we need to put in what? A column like this, and then we put in what? XFD, all right? Can you see? And then press the enter key on the keyboard. Can you see the total columns that Excel has? 16,384 columns, all right? Let me format this and then remove this decimal point and also increase the font size. Yes. So these are the total columns and total rows that Excel has. I believe somebody is taking notes, right? So I want to ask, can you still hear me? Can you hear me? And can you see my screen?
Yes, we can hear you.
Exactly. All right. So these tiny boxes you see here in Excel, these tiny boxes are called cells. Are called what? Cells in Excel. All right. If you want to count 1, 2, 3, there are almost 17 billion cells in Excel. You can't count this all in a day. All right. So if you multiply this by this, you're going to get 17 million. These are the total cells we have in Excel. Let's see this. Okay, so I will use my equal sign here. I want to multiply this, okay, multiply the rows by the columns, all right, and then strike the enter key on the keyboard. You can see that we have 17 billion, all right, 17 what? 17 billion cells in Excel. 17 billion. So we have these rows. These are the number of rows that we have in Excel. These are the number of columns we have in Excel. And these are the number of cells we have in Excel. All right. So let me format this and then increase the font size. So I believe somebody is taking note. So when next you hear somebody saying he or she knows Microsoft Excel, ask a person some questions. And for you that you're here today, I want you to take note of this. Okay, so I just wanted to show you this short piece. So let's get back to our main work for today. Let me see. Any questions so far, or should we continue? Any questions so far? So far, we are starting the main thing.
Sorry, sir. Please, can I ask a question?
Okay, please go ahead.
The last part you said now about the cells. I didn't follow up on that. How you got the numbers of cells?
Okay, all right. So in Excel, the intersection of column and rows give us a cell. These tiny boxes you see are called cells in Excel. These tiny boxes you see are called cells in Excel. So the intersection of a row and column gives us a cell. So now that we have gotten the rows, the total rows that Excel has, which is 1,048,576 rows. And we also get the total columns, which is 16,384. Because I said the intersection of a column and a row gives us a cell, we want to count the number of cells we have in Excel. So all we need to do is to multiply this. If you use your calculator, multiply this and this, it's going to give you the total cells. So this is how we got the total cells, and this is how I got it. With this equal sign, you can see on my screen now, right? You can see this formula bar, J8 multiplied by J10. What is J8? So this row's value is on column J and then row number 8. Then this columns 2 is on column J, row number 10. For me to calculate this, I simply use my equal sign, which is the formula sign, then multiply J8 by J10. This will give me what? The total cell, right, in Excel, right? So let me do this again. Very simply. I'll click here, then space, multiply, you know, the multiplication sign on the keyboard, and then you click here again and press the enter key. So this is how I got the total sales in Excel, which is 17,179,869,184 cells in Excel. Please, does that answer your question? Should we continue?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. All right.
Please, sir.
Yes.
Sorry, before you go, how do you get the rows and column? I didn't get that. Is there any formula that you use?
Okay, are you just joining us?
No. I joined a bit like 10.
Okay.
20 minutes
this
ago.
This is how we got the rows. You place your cursor here, and then you use your control down arrow key to get to the last row. This is 1,048,576. Right. So for the columns, we use this formula to get the columns number, the number of columns that we have. All right. So you can take a look at this formula. Maybe you can apply it. We are actually running out of time, so I don't want to dwell much on this. All right. Okay. So at the end of it all, we are going to get the recording session of this meeting. Okay. So don't worry. Okay. So let's start. We want to work with the date function. All right. We want to work with the date function in this today's webinar. Other webinar, you might see other functions as well. So when you have a date like this, right? We have a date like this. You notice that this date consists of three things: the month, the day, and the year. It's very easy. So Excel has a function called year. Excel has a function called year. Excel has a function called year that is used to get the year from a given date. Right? So see what I'm going to do. I will put in my equal sign like this. You can do along with me, or the session is recorded, so you don't even need to bother. All right? Don't worry yourself. Okay, so I'll bring in here. When you type a function like this, in Excel, all right, you take note of the tooltip. This tooltip says the year function returns the year of a date, an integer in the range of this to this. That's what it is. So this is how you learn about the function in Excel. Excel itself can teach you what each function does, right? So when you type here like this, you use your tab key. Let me bring up my tab key here. This is it. You click or you press this tab key to automatically invoke the function. You can as well double click on the function, right? Then you use your Control A on the keyboard to pop up what we call the function argument dialog box. Let me take that again. You enter your function like this, and then start with the formula sign, the equal sign. Then you bring in the function name, all right? When you bring in the function name, you can either press your tab key on the keyboard or you double click on that function like this, all right? Then once you do this, you press Ctrl A on the keyboard to pop up the function argument dialog box, right? So this function dialog box, I just simply need to click on the date because this function requires a date to extract the year. So I'll just click on this this value here on my screen. I'll click on this. Notice what happens. It has given me the year already. So I'll press OK. I'll click on OK. And I have the year, right? If I want it to fill down to all the other rows, I simply use the fill handle. Notice my cursor. It has turned to a cross sign. So all I need to do, I need to just double click here and it will fill up everything. So that is how to get what? To get the year function. We also have a function in Excel called month, all right? Called what? Month, all right? What the month function does, it gives you the month number. If you look at this date, let me press Ctrl A. If you look at this date, you can see the month number in the date, isn't it? So you use the month function to get the month number, right? So all I need to do now is to click on this date and then click on OK. And I've gotten what? August, which is 8. So I'll use the fill handle to double click and it will fill up the whole thing. How do we get the month name? All right, how do we get the month name? Before I want to ask if you can still hear me and you can see my screen. Confirm if you can still hear me and you can see my screen. You can unmute and speak because I can no longer see you again, all right? Can you hear me? Can you see my screen?
We can hear you, sir. We can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you, sir. Thank you.
All right.
A little too fast.
Okay, I'm a little bit too fast. Thank you for pointing out the tendency of running fast. I don't know where I'm running to. All right, I'm going to slow down. Okay, so looking at this month name, we've gotten the month number. How can we get the month name? To get the month name, simply you bring in your equal sign like this, and then you use the text function. Use a text function. All right, when you type in a function like this, you can either double click for it to come up or you use your tab key. All right, so what does the text function do? The text function helps you format what? Format a text in a given format. Format a text in a particular format that you need. All right, in this case, looking at this here now, I'll click on this here like this, or I can simply bring up my functions dialog box like this, Ctrl A on the keyboard. All right, let me show you Ctrl A for those of you that want to know how to get Ctrl A. All right, so I come here to the month name, enter equal sign, then enter text. Okay, when I enter text like this, I click on the tab key to bring up the function, and then I will press Ctrl and A on my keyboard, Ctrl A, to bring up the the function dialog box. All right, so the text function requires two values or two parameters to be given. The first parameter is going to be the date. All right, so I'll click on this date here. Remember, we want to extract the month name, which is August. We already have the month number, right? So having done that, the next thing that I need to do, because I've supplied this value, the next thing that I need to do is the format that I want for the month. So I'll simply bring in my double quotation sign like this and then type MMM. Now notice something. The MMM, abbreviates the month for like 3 letters, right? If I want the full name, let me just close the double quotes. Can you see what happens? Can you see this August? Can somebody see this? Can somebody see this? Can you see August?
Yes, sir, we can see it, sir.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've seen it.
So because we have 3 M's, now if I put the 4 M's, you can see that the August is in full format now. This, which is what we want. I'll click on OK, and now we have August here. I'll double click, and this will fill down everything. We have so many data down here, right, up to 2022, right? So I'll do the same thing for day number, all right? To get the day, Friday and the rest, you use your equal sign like this, and then the day function, right? With this day function like this, you press on the tab key and then Ctrl A to bring up the function argument dialog box. Then since I need the day number, I need to supply the date for the function to extract the day number. So the date that I need to supply is this. So I simply click on this and then I'll click on OK. Notice what happens because the day is 10, right? The system is able to do what? To get the day for us from the given date. So I'll use my fill handle to double click and it fills down. For the day name, the same thing. We are going to use the text function. So you type the text function like this, Control A to bring up the formula bar like this, and then right here I'll pass in what? The date, and also the format for the day is DDD. All right, for short form. If I close this, can you notice this? Can you notice it has brought up 2? How do you pronounce this? 2 or 2? How do you pronounce this? Who can pronounce this? Hello?
Three.
Who can pronounce this?
Three.
All right, but in a nutshell, this DDD is a short form for giving the short day name. All right, if you want it in full, you can use the 4 Ds like this, and you can see the Tuesday coming up. So I'll press OK here. Right, so I use my fill handle to double click, and everything is filled down. Okay, so arrival dates and departure dates. How can we get the night, the total booking night, using the arrival date and the departure date? It's very simple. All we need to do is to subtract departure date from the arrival date to get the number of nights. And to do this, use your equal sign, step 1. Step 2, because this is the departure date, I simply need to click on it and then use my subtraction operator on the keyboard, space again, click on arrival date, and then enter on the keyboard. What happens? If you look at this date now, can someone tell me, is this correct? Looking the booking date on the 10th, and the arrival date on the 10th, then the departure date on the 13th. Is this correct, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
So I want to fill down. I just double click here and everything is filled down. You can see for order, the arrival and departure date, you can see the number of nights. So now with this number of nights, I can simply multiply the rate, the booking rate, by the night to get the total bookings. So I'll use my equal sign like this, right? Rate, I'll click on the rate, right? Space on the keyboard, multiplication sign, and then click on the night cell, right? This will give me what? The multiplication for the rate. So I'll strike enter on the keyboard. You can see here, of course, if you multiply 84,000 by 3, you're going to get this, right? I simply need to click here and then format this as currency. So I'll click on this comma sign here and then remove the decimal point. And what I need to do too is to double click to fill down. All right. Sometimes in your Excel file, you may not have a date column like this, a date formatted like this. All right. You might have the year, the month, and the day. How can you construct a date like this? This is what we want to do now. So to construct a date like this, using this, and this, we simply use the date function, right? Equal sign, date, right? And then Control A to pop up the formula bar, right? So the first argument that I need to pass in is the year. I'll simply come here, click on this year. That's the first argument. The second argument I need to pass here is the month, which is the month number. I'll click here. The third argument that we need to pass in here is the day. I'll press here and click the day. And click on OK. And wow, we have our date construct. You know, sometimes they will send you data from survey, from where they collect the data, and it may not be well formatted. And this webinar is showing you the possibilities of being able to format your data in Excel just the way you want. So I'll double click here and everything fills down. All right? Can you still hear me? Can you still see my screen?
Yes. Sorry, sir. I can hear you, but I can't see the screen where you are.
Okay. Is she the only one that cannot see the screen? Can other people see my screen? Please come.
I can see your screen. I can see.
Yes, we can see your screen, sir.
Yes, I can see, sir.
Yeah,
Probably your network.
but
Maybe it's your network. Maybe it's your name. Okay, so we are done with today's tasks, and I believe you are learning a whole lot for this short, webinar. All right, this is the essence of the webinar. It's short, it's not training, just to enhance your skill in what you already know. All right, so let's get here quickly. So for this, whenever you have a date like this is not well formatted. And the problem is that the person entering this data may not know how to properly enter date in Excel. And one good thing about Excel is that whatever you throw at it, it accepts it as text, except you explicitly format that thing the way you want. So whenever you get a date like this, there is how you can do what? There is how you can format it properly, right? Which is what we're going to do. There is a function called date value. All right, so right here I want to format this date. I'll put in my equal sign, then bring up that function called date value. All right, this is it. I'll double click on date value, and then all I need to do, as you can see, the argument that it takes is the date text, which is this date text. I'll click on it and then press enter on my keyboard. As you can see, this date is well formatted from this unformatted text date that we see here. So I'll double click to fill down. All right, good. So the next function that we want to look at is the end of month function. June ends in what day? August ends in what day? And so on and so forth. When you're creating a report or you're manipulating your data, you need this kind of function. So Excel has a function called end of month, EO month, as you can see it here, right? So I'll click here and then Control A to pop up my function argument dialog box. Okay, all right. So the start date is this date that we have here, and then for the month you always begin with 0. All right, it will get the month for you. So I'll click on OK. You can notice that it has gotten that June ends in this date, right? Then for the working days, how can you get a working day in Excel? So Control, okay. So someone is trying to join. Let me accept this person so we can continue. All right. Okay, so that is it. Let me come down here. Okay, so let's do this again. So here we have EO month. I'll double click and then I'll click on this and then enter 0. Press the enter on the keyboard. Then I'll double click here. So for the working days, Excel has a function called network days. Network days will help you to get the working days, excluding weekends. Saturday and Sundays are not working days in Nigeria, as far as Nigeria is concerned. All right. So you can use the network days to get what? The number of working days. Right, so it requires the start date and the end date. So I'll click here for the start date, put my comma, click here for the end date, and press the enter key on the keyboard. So you can see that the working days in June is 20 days, right? So I'll double click to fill up this. All right, so this is what I wanted to show you. I have assignment for you. All right, I have assignment for you, and the assignment is for you to do the same thing using Google Sheets. I want to just show you an example. Your assignment is to do this using Google Sheet. So for example, I'll put this sign and then bring in year. All right, bring in what? Year. I'll click and then click this. Press the enter key on the keyboard. Can you see? And then you click on accept. Wow. Can you see my screen on Google Sheets that you can do exactly the same thing? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So that is going to be your assignment. That's going to be your assignment. You do this assignment and send it to me on the group chat. Okay? So one last thing that I want to do quickly, the essence of doing all these things is to be able to filter this report by year, by month, all right? And my time is running out. Just give me 1 hour for this session, all right? So to bring in the slicer for you to be able to, you know, slice this, I'll turn this, convert this to a table, Control A to select everything. The recording is there. You're going to get the recording. So I'll come to Format As and then pick any of this table. My data is formatted as tables. Now let me quickly bring in my slicer. I'll click here. I'll come to Insert, come to where I have Slicer. I want to slice this data by year. So I'll click this and then take this to somewhere here. That's the main essence we are doing this. I also want to slice this by month. So I'll come to Insert, I'll come to Slice, and then I'll select months. I'll click on OK, right? So here, I can slice this by month. Now tell me, would this have been possible without we extracting the year and month using function in Excel? Let's say you're given this task to do. For now, I can just toggle this data by year. I can see this data is filtered by only bookings for year 2022. What about the month? All right, for the year 2021, what about for the month of August? I can toggle this data. I will see all the bookings for the month of August, for the month of September, as in September 2021, you can see all the bookings. On November 2021, you can see all the bookings. Your assignment too is to be able to filter this data by day. I want to see how much was generated on Monday in a particular month and a particular year. Can you do this? Let me see your reaction. If you can try this and send it on the group. Let me see your reaction. We are closing for now. Let me see your reaction. If you can try that, that's assignment for you. All right, let me see your reaction. If you can try that out. Can you still hear me, please? Can you still hear me? All right. So for the last time, let me just invite you to our boot camp, which is coming up in March. Right? This boot camp is something that you've never seen before, where you're going to learn how to build different types of projects in Power BI, in Excel, and of course using SQL and Python. Right? So the boot camp is coming up in March, right? Where we teach you Python, we teach you several things you like to learn in order to become expert data analyst. So you're going to learn about Python, you're going to learn about SQL, you're going to learn about Power BI, and at the end of it all, you're going to build Excel project, you're going to build different types of dashboard, finance dashboard, retail dashboard, and all that. Our bootcamp is practical. A lot of you have already tested the practicality of our course. So this is the end of the webinar. If you have any question, please ask me now before we end the session. If you have any question, ask now before we end the session. Thank you very much. So I'm going to share the link for the video so you can, on your own spare time, you can go through all these functions and see how you can practice them yourself. Any questions so far? Thank you very much. Any questions so far? If there is no question, we are going to end it here. Any question?
Okay, so you've answered my question. I wanted to ask you there's a pre-recorded video.
Yes, I'll send the recorded session.
I also wanted to ask when our next class will be.
Okay, like live session.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Notifications on the group. You know, we'll be bringing up a webinar like this, short webinar that can bring up those things that you don't know, and then to, you know, add to your skills repository. So just be on the community. That's the essence why you belong to this vibrant community. All right.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so if there is no other question, thank you so much for joining us. And for those who are interested in joining our comprehensive bootcamp, please, you can indicate interest and let me know privately. I'll give you discount. You have discount that we cannot give to anybody. All right. Thank you very much. I'll send the recording on the group. Bye for now.